Today's fly is a fly I call the ugly duckling. As you can see, it's a spinner color, oversized white hackle, pretty big tail, orange trim. I made this fly to be my uptrot fly on a two-fly rig for fishing the Sulpher spinner hatch. As it gets later and later, it's harder to see where your actual rusty spinner is. But I found along the way when fishing both the Elk River in West Virginia during the Sulphur Hatch and also the South Holston in northeastern Tennessee that when I put this thing on, I was catching as many trout as I was on the absolute natural looking rusty spinner, and actually was catching probably an average of more larger trout on this slightly oversized, very bright fly. And my reason I think it is because when it gets close to dark, that foam body sits in the surface film. That parachute hackle lays out on a pattern on the water looking very much like a spin. The items that you'll need for the ugly duckling are, in this case, I'm using a size 14 for the Sulphur pattern. I'm using about 1/8 of an inch strip of foam cut for the body. In this case, I'm using orange thread, about 8/0, and a pretty common white hackle. As you might not be see it so well with that behind. But that's what I'll be using. It's a very basic fly, but you'll be very impressed by how well it fishes. The first step is I'll take the orange thread, just take it back real quickly to the end point, back up a little bit, snip that extra off. Then I'll take a pretty hefty sized tail that sticks way back to represent what you'll see on a spinner. Yeah, I want it way back there and oversized because you definitely want the impression for the trout to see of that tail, that spinner, and also it helps in flotation. At this point, I'll go forward about a hook eye width back. I'll take the foam and I'll just wrap it in, and I'll just wrap it back, creating a segmented body like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, trust me. I'll just pull the foam to break it. Now carefully come back up to the front, and that's basically the body done. The next step is to take that same piece of foam, cut a little bit of an angle, lay it on top, bind it down. I'll use that for my parachute style hackle. Next, I'll bind on the hackle, and I'll put several. I don't want it to come loose. And then you'll see here the hackle is oversized for the fly. And I'll just say right now, I think that helps it appear to be a spinner. So at any rate, I'll take several turns around that, come up, do a half hitch, and I'll trim this in a second, but you'll see why I call this the ugly duckling, because there's nothing really pretty about this fly. It's just the fact that it definitely catches fish. So at that point, I'll trim the hackle off. I'll trim this post off, and this post gives me great visibility at night. I'll trim some of the other fibers off. Okay, I've got those hackles trimmed up. And with a little bit better background behind it, I'll turn it around so you can see what it looks like. You can see those fibers sticking out. I don't trim any more off. I don't worry, because this is the up fly on a 2-fly rig for fishing the spinners. The other fly being a traditional rusty spinner. But you can see this fly very well right at dusk and early evening. And I would easily say I catch as many large brown trout and rainbows on this as I do to a true to size rusty spinner. So I hope this looks like a good fly for you. Have a great day. Bye.